Imagine stepping into a city where cars drive themselves, buildings clean the air, and entire neighborhoods are designed by artificial intelligence. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's happening, right now. From floating cities to high-tech metropolises in the desert, governments and billionaires across the world are racing to build the cities of tomorrow. But are they the utopias they promise to be? Or are we creating expensive dystopian experiments? Today, we're diving into the futuristic cities being built as we speak, what they promise, what could go wrong, and what they might tell us about the future of urban life. Let's get started. Imagine a city appearing almost out of thin air, not in a booming metropolis, but in the middle of the Kazakh steppe. That's Nurkent, a purpose-built city rising on Kazakhstan's border with China, designed to serve one of the most ambitious trade projects of the century, China's Belt and Road Initiative. Nurkent is being built right next to Korgos, a rapidly growing dry port and logistics hub that allows goods from China to be transferred for transport into Europe and Central Asia. This region is at the heart of a modern Silk Road, and Nurkent's entire purpose is to support the thousands of workers keeping that supply chain running. Originally, it was just a tiny work camp with around 1,000 people, but Kazakhstan, with help from Chinese investors, has bigger plans. By 2035, Nurkent is projected to grow into a full-fledged city of 100,000 people, complete with modern housing, schools, hospitals, and even smart city technology. Officials see it as more than just a dormitory for workers. It's supposed to be a self-sustaining urban center that boosts Kazakhstan's economy and strengthens trade with China. The city's layout is ambitious. By the early 2020s, the plan was to build 1 million square meters of housing, enough for around 50,000 people in the first phase alone. Entire neighborhoods are being constructed from scratch, with apartment complexes, parks, and commercial centers. There's even talk of integrating digital infrastructure as part of Kazakhstan's Digital Kazakhstan initiative, making Nurkent one of the country's most modern cities. But there's one big question. Will people actually want to live here? Right now, it's an isolated patch of desert with little to do outside of work. While the government is trying to make it livable with schools, hospitals, and even entertainment options, early residents have described it as remote and monotonous. The challenge will be attracting long-term settlers rather than just workers who come and go. Then there's the geopolitical angle. Nurkent is more than just a city. It's a symbol of Kazakhstan's growing partnership with China. Beijing sees it as a key piece of its Belt and Road Initiative, securing a stable trade gateway into Central Asia. But at the same time, Kazakhstan has to be careful not to become too dependent on Chinese investment, balancing its relationships with both China and Russia. If successful, Nurkent could be a blueprint for future trade cities, a thriving hub along the new Silk Road. But if it struggles to attract people, it could end up as just another ambitious project lost in the vast Kazakh steppe. Lagos, Nigeria, a city of over 20 million people, bursting with energy but struggling with overcrowding, traffic, and rising sea levels. Now, a bold solution is rising from the Atlantic Ocean itself. Eco-Atlantic City, a privately funded 10-square-kilometer smart city built on reclaimed land. This isn't just a real estate project. It's a vision to turn Lagos into Africa's version of Dubai, a global financial hub with towering skyscrapers, luxury apartments, and state-of-the-art infrastructure. When completed, it's expected to house 250,000 residents and welcome 150,000 daily commuters, easing pressure on Lagos's overcrowded mainland. But Eco-Atlantic serves another purpose: defense against the ocean. For decades, Lagos has been losing land to coastal erosion, with some neighborhoods literally sinking into the sea. To stop this, engineers built the Great Wall of Lagos, an 8.5 kilometers long seawall designed to shield the city from flooding and rising tides for over a century. Inside the city, the master plan is ambitious. A business district meant to rival London's Canary Wharf. a marina district lined with luxury homes and high-end hotels, smart infrastructure, including solar-powered streetlights, fiber optic internet, and underground drainage systems to prevent the flooding Lagos is known for. Economically, Eco Atlantic is set to attract multinational companies and create 150,000-plus jobs in finance, construction, and tourism. Investors from First Bank, Access Bank, and global real estate firms are already buying in, banking on it becoming West Africa's business capital. But there are challenges. Many critics say the city caters only to the wealthy, making it feel more like a gated luxury community than a true solution for Lagos's growing population. There are also concerns about environmental impact, with some experts warning that disrupting natural ocean currents could worsen coastal erosion elsewhere. Despite the hurdles, construction is pushing forward. Office towers, hotels, and high-end apartments are already functional, and more are rising every year. If fully realized, Eco Atlantic could redefine Lagos. But whether it becomes Africa's first truly global city or just an exclusive real estate bubble remains to be seen. What if cities didn't have to fight against rising sea levels, but floated with them? That's exactly the idea behind Oceanics Busan, the world's first UN-backed floating city, currently being developed off the coast of Busan, South Korea. With 90% of the world's megacities at risk from rising oceans, this project aims to redefine urban living, expanding cities onto the water instead of losing land to it. Designed as a climate-resilient prototype, Oceanics Busan is meant to prove that floating communities can be sustainable, self-sufficient, and storm-resistant. The first phase consists of 3 interconnected floating platforms, each serving a different purpose: a residential platform with eco-friendly apartments, a research and innovation hub focused on marine technology, a lodging district with hotels, shops, and restaurants meant to attract visitors. Each platform is engineered to withstand floods, typhoons, and even Category 5 hurricanes. The city will be powered by 100% renewable energy, use closed-loop water recycling systems, and even grow its own food through hydroponic and aquaponic farms. But this is more than just an experiment. If successful, Oceanics Busan could be scaled up, with more floating modules expanding the city's capacity from a few hundred residents to over 10,000, and one day, maybe even 100,000. Of course, floating cities aren't without challenges. Questions about legal governance, construction costs, and social integration remain unanswered. But with UN support and a $600 million investment, Busan hopes to set the blueprint for a future where cities don't sink under climate change. They rise with it. Imagine a city where every building is covered in trees, a place that doesn't just reduce pollution, but actively cleans the air. That's the vision behind Liu Forest City, a first-of-its-kind green metropolis being built in southern China's Guangxi province. Designed by Italian architect Stefano Boeri, the mastermind behind vertical forest buildings, this city is an experiment in eco-urbanism. It spans 175 hectares along the Liujiang River, just north of Liuzhou, a city struggling with air pollution and urban crowding. But instead of more concrete and smog, Liu Forest City will be a self-sustaining, energy-efficient oasis. The city will be home to 30,000 people, but its real residents might be the 40,000 trees and 1 million plants that will cover its buildings. This massive urban forest is designed to absorb 10,000 tons of CO2 per year while producing 900 tons of oxygen, essentially making it a living air purifier. The thick vegetation will also reduce temperatures, block noise pollution, and provide habitats for wildlife, turning the city into a biodiversity hotspot. The city isn't just green, it's high-tech and self-sufficient. Every building will be powered by solar panels and geothermal energy, ensuring zero-carbon living. A high-speed rail line will connect it to Liuzhou, while within the city, only electric vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians will be allowed. No gas-powered cars at all. But like all futuristic projects, it faces challenges. Construction has been slower than planned, with delays pushing back the original 2020 completion date. However, work is still ongoing, and if successful, Liu Forest City could become a blueprint for future eco-cities across China and the world. Will it truly revolutionize urban living, or will it remain a bold but isolated experiment? That's the question as the world watches this forest city rise from the ground. So, what do you think? Are these futuristic cities the solution to our growing urban challenges, or are they just ambitious experiments that might never take off? From Nurkent's desert trade hub to Eco-Atlantic's luxury skyline, from Oceanic's Busan's floating neighborhoods to Liu Forest City's living architecture, these projects offer a glimpse into what the future of cities could look like. But whether they succeed or fail will depend on innovation, investment, and most importantly, people actually wanting to live in them. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these cities do you think has the best chance of thriving? Would you live in a floating city or a forest city? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of urban living, don't forget to like this video to support the channel, subscribe for more mind-blowing stories about the cities of tomorrow. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.